China is currently the world's second-largest economy and plays a significant role in the global economy. The country has been experiencing rapid economic growth and has become a major trade partner for many countries around the world. Also, China has been actively working towards increasing the use of its currency, the yuan, in international transactions and as a reserve currency. Some analysts have suggested that the yuan could potentially challenge the dominance of the US dollar as the world's reserve currency as China's economic power continues to grow. However, there are still several challenges that China needs to overcome before this becomes a reality, including improving the transparency and stability of its financial markets, increasing the convertibility of the yuan, and reducing government intervention in the economy. China's economic growth and increasing role in the global economy make it an important player in discussions about the future of international finance and the use of reserve currencies. But is it a possibility? Is the yuan about to take over the world? To answer this question, we must first answer others. So let's begin with the definition of a currency. Being the global reserve. When people talk about a currency being the global reserve, they're usually referring to a situation where a specific currency is used by central banks and other financial institutions around the world as a means of storing value or settling international transactions. Essentially, it's a currency that's seen as a reliable and stable store of wealth and is widely accepted in international trade and finance. The idea of a global reserve currency isn't a new one. For much of the 20th century, the US dollar was considered the dominant reserve currency, largely due to America's status as the world's largest economy and the prevalence of the US dollar in global trade. However, in recent years, some analysts have suggested that the role of the US dollar may be shifting, as other currencies, such as the euro and the Chinese yuan, become more widely used in international transactions. There are several reasons why a currency might be chosen as the global reserve. One key factor is stability. A currency that's seen as stable and reliable is more likely to be trusted by international investors and central banks, and is therefore more likely to be used as a reserve currency. Other factors might include the size and openness of the issuing country's economy, the prevalence of the currency in global trade, and the policies of the issuing country's central bank. Of course, there are also drawbacks to being the global reserve currency. One potential downside is that the issuing country's monetary policy decisions can have global ramifications, as changes in interest rates or other policy measures can affect the value of the currency and have knock-on effects in international markets. Additionally, some analysts have argued that the privilege of being the global reserve currency can lead to exorbitant privilege, a situation where the issuing country benefits from having its currency widely used without necessarily having to make structural reforms to its economy or financial system. The concept of a global reserve currency is an important one in international finance and has significant implications for the global economy. While the US dollar remains the dominant reserve currency at present, it's possible that other currencies may challenge their position in the coming years as the global economic landscape continues to evolve. What benefits come with a currency being the global reserve? Being the global reserve currency comes with a lot of benefits, both for the country whose currency is being used and for the international financial system as a whole. For the country whose currency is being used as a reserve, there are several advantages. Firstly, it means that there is a high demand for their currency in international transactions, which can help to stabilize its value and make it more attractive to foreign investors. This can also help to reduce the cost of borrowing for the country, as they can borrow at lower interest rates than other countries. Secondly, being the global reserve currency can also help to increase the country's political influence and standing in the world. This is because the country is seen as a leader in the international financial system, and other countries are more likely to seek out its advice and support in matters of finance and economics. For the international financial system as a whole, Having a dominant reserve currency can help to promote stability and facilitate international trade and investment. This is because it provides a common currency that can be used for transactions between countries, reducing the need for currency exchange and the associated costs and risks. Many countries continue to aspire to have their currency recognized as a global reserve, as the benefits can be significant. How has the US dollar maintained its position as the global reserve currency? The US dollar has maintained its position as the global reserve currency for a few reasons. One is that the United States has the largest and most stable economy in the world, making the dollar a safe and reliable currency for international transactions. Another reason is that many commodities, such as oil, are priced in dollars, making it necessary for countries to hold dollars to purchase these goods. Additionally, the U.S. has a well-developed financial system and a deep and liquid bond market, which makes it easier for other countries to hold and trade U.S. dollars. Finally, the U.S. has been able to use its political and military power to maintain the dominance of the dollar. Many countries hold U.S. dollars as a way to gain favor with the U.S. and ensure access to U.S. markets and resources. Despite these advantages, there have been some challenges to the U.S. dollar's dominance in recent years, as other currencies such as the euro and the yuan have gained prominence. However, the U.S. dollar remains the most widely used currency for international transactions and as a reserve currency. What actions is China taking to challenge the U.S. dollar's status as the global reserve currency? China has been making moves to shake up the world's financial order by taking steps to challenge the U.S. dollar's status as the global reserve currency. How are they doing this? Firstly, China has been encouraging the use of its currency, the yuan, in international transactions. This is no small feat, considering the dominance of the U.S. dollar in global trade. They've been pushing for other countries to hold yuan reserves, which could reduce the reliance on the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency. Secondly, China has been signing currency swap agreements with other countries. These agreements allow for direct trading in yuan, bypassing the need for the U.S. dollar as an intermediary currency. By doing this, China is establishing the yuan as a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar in international trade. China has also established the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which provides an alternative to the U.S. dollar-denominated gold markets. It allows for the trading of gold futures contracts in yuan, which provides an alternative financial system outside of the U.S. dollar's control. Another significant point of note is that China has been actively pursuing the development of digital currencies, including the digital yuan. This could potentially challenge the dominance of traditional currencies like the U.S. dollar, especially as the world becomes increasingly digital. Is it feasible for the yuan to replace the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency? While China's economy has been growing at a rapid pace, there are still several hurdles that need to be overcome before the yuan can become a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar. One of the biggest challenges facing the yuan is the lack of transparency and stability in China's financial markets. Investors are often hesitant to invest in yuan-denominated assets due to concerns about government intervention and the lack of clear rules and regulations. Additionally, China's capital account is not fully convertible, which means that there are still restrictions on the flow of capital in and out of the country. Another factor that could impact the yuan's ability to become a reserve currency is the geopolitical tensions between China and other countries. As China becomes more assertive on the world stage, there are concerns about the country's political and economic policies, which could make other countries hesitant to hold yuan reserves. Despite these challenges, China has been taking steps to promote the use of the yuan in international transactions and increase its role in global finance. If China continues to open up its financial markets, reduce government intervention, and address concerns about transparency and stability, it's possible that the yuan could eventually become a viable alternative to the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. However, this is likely to be a slow and gradual process that will take many years to unfold. All in all, China's efforts to promote the use of the yuan and develop alternative financial systems could potentially challenge the US dollar's status as the global reserve currency in the future. It will be interesting to see how this all unfolds.